For NASA, 2010 was another year of new exploration, exciting discoveries, and important milestones. From spaceflight to science and technology, from understanding life here on Earth to where we might find it elsewhere, from protecting our home planet to inspiring the next generation of explorers. This was This Year at NASA.
Engines at maximum thrust and liftoff of the Soyuz TMA-20 as Katie Coleman, Paulo Nespoli, and Dmitry Kondratyev head toward the International Space Station.
The December 15th launch of the Soyuz spacecraft carrying Expedition 26 crew members Katie Coleman, Paulo Nespoli, and Dmitry Kondratyev to the International Space Station capped another year of important milestones for the orbiting complex and NASA's Space Shuttle program as its fleet of orbiters approaches its retirement.
All right, guys, give me a smile.
Expedition 22 Commander Jeff Williams and Flight Engineer Max Suryev made a safe return to Earth in a Soyuz spacecraft landing on the remote steppes of Kazakhstan. Russian recovery teams worked in snow and frigid temperatures to help the crew exit the spacecraft and begin their readjustment to Earth's gravity.
Liftoff of Alexander Skvortsov, Tracy Caldwell-Dyson, and Mikhail Kornienko beginning their journey to the International Space Station.
The new members of the Expedition 23 crew began their journey to the International Space Station with a successful launch from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan. Soyuz Commander Alexander Skvortsov, flight engineers Mikhail Kornienko, and Tracy Caldwell-Dyson will spend the next 6 months aboard the orbiting complex.
The crew of STS-131 returned home to Houston following their 15 days in space aboard Shuttle Discovery.
Nice landing. Well done.
A crowd of several hundred well-wishers greeted the 7 astronauts at Ellington Field after their flight from the Kennedy Space Center one day after their safe landing.
4, 3, 2, 1, launch. Stop.
The first test of the fully integrated launch abort system for the Orion crew vehicle was successfully completed at the White Sands Missile Range on May 6th. The Pad Abort 1 test is part of an ongoing mission to develop safer vehicles for human spaceflight applications.
Carrying a 6-astronaut crew, STS-132 Commander Ken Ham, pilot Tony Antonelli, and mission specialists Garrett Reisman, Steve Bowen, Mike Good, and Piers Sellers, Space Shuttle Atlantis concluded its final flight, a 12-day trip to the International Space Station, with a smooth landing at the Kennedy Space Center.
And Houston, Atlantis, we have wheel stop.
Copy, wheel stop, Atlantis. Hawk, that landing was something that your Air Force crewmates should have really been proud of. That looked pretty sweet. I think what a lot of us are wondering about is making sure that everything's up and running again.
Shannon and Doug removed the last jumpers today and put the racks back, and so it's all spick and span, and it's back to business as usual, it seems.
The International Space Station's cooling system was reactivated and finally back in normal operation.
The pump is looking good.
Oh, sweet. Well, we got our station back.
3 spacewalks by Expedition 24 flight engineers Doug Wheelock and Tracy Caldwell-Dyson were needed to remove and replace a failed ammonia pump that had disabled one of the station's 2 cooling loops on July 31st.
Out for it. Okay. Oh, there, you can see us.
Yep, I see.
3, 2, 1. Fueling tower separates and booster ignition. And liftoff. Liftoff of the Soyuz rocket as Alexander Kaleri, Scott Kelly, and Oleg Skvortsov begin their journey to the International Space Station.
Following several days of traditional pre-launch activities and preparations, the Expedition 25 crew successfully launched aboard a Soyuz rocket to begin its 2-day journey to the International Space Station. Soyuz Commander Alexander Kaleri and flight engineers Scott Kelly and Oleg Skvortsov are joining Expedition 25 Commander Doug Wheelock and flight engineers Fyodor Yurchikhin and Shannon Walker, all of whom have been in orbit aboard the complex since June.
The first SpaceX Falcon 9 demonstration launch for NASA's Commercial Orbital Transportation Services program lifted off on Wednesday, December 8th from Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station in Florida.
0. We have liftoff of the Falcon 9.
Stage 1.
Known as COTS-1, the launch is the first flight of the Dragon spacecraft and the first commercial attempt to re-enter a spacecraft from orbit. The demonstration mission proved key capabilities, such as launch, structural integrity of the Dragon spacecraft, on-orbit operation, re-entry, descent, and splashdown in the Pacific Ocean.
As he did in 2009, President Obama made several calls from the White House to astronauts in space. But 2010 also saw the president visit the Kennedy Space Center in Florida to present his plans for NASA and reaffirm his support for space exploration.
Hey guys!
President Obama spoke with the crews of Space Shuttle Endeavour and the International Space Station from the Roosevelt Room of the White House.
I think I speak for all the young people here, everybody back home, how proud we are of you, how excited we are about the work that's being done on the space station, and how committed we are to continuing human space exploration in the future.
President Barack Obama made a trip to the Kennedy Space Center on Thursday to explain his plan for America's space program. Accompanied by Florida Senator and former shuttle astronaut Bill Nelson, Apollo astronaut Buzz Aldrin, and NASA Administrator Charles Bolden, President Obama addressed an audience comprised of elected officials, leaders from industry, academia, and KSC employees.
I am 100% committed to the mission of NASA and its future. Because broadening our capabilities in space will continue to serve our society in ways that we can scarcely imagine. Because exploration will once more inspire wonder in a new generation, sparking passions and launching careers. And because ultimately, if we fail to press forward in the pursuit of discovery, we are ceding our future and we are ceding that essential element of the American character.
Administrator Charlie Bolden joined President Obama at a special White House ceremony honoring educators from across the country for their excellence in mathematics, science teaching, and mentoring. The event was part of the president's Educate to Innovate campaign to boost student achievement in STEM subjects, science, technology, engineering, and math.
I've challenged the scientific community to think of new and creative ways to engage young people in their fields. That's why we launched the Educate to Innovate campaign, a nationwide effort by citizens, non-for-profits, universities, and companies from across America to help us move to the top of the pack in math and science education.
Through a combination of hands-on projects, creative partnerships, and public appearances, NASA continued to promote the education of our youth in science, technology, engineering, and math, the STEM disciplines so important to our nation's future. NASA is teaming with Univision Communications Incorporated, the Department of Education, and other organizations to support Univision's initiative to improve Hispanic students' high school graduation rates, prepare for college, and encourage them to pursue careers in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
It's a great extension of the efforts that we've been making to foster STEM education, to support the President's Educate to Innovate program, the Race to the Top. It all fits together for us. This program, is designated primarily to reach kids in the high school area, but I think with our Summer of Innovation that's focused on kids in middle school, they're kind of a perfect marriage.
Teachers became students while participating in the second annual NASA Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics STEM Educators Workshops held this year in Charlotte, North Carolina. The 40-session workshop provided elementary, middle, and high school teachers with creative hands-on ways to incorporate NASA content into their classrooms.
About 25 7th grade girls from area middle schools got up close and personal with unique aircraft and high technology when they participated in a Tech Trek tour of the Dryden Flight Research Center. The Tech Trek, to develop interest and excitement about math and science and self-confidence among middle school girls, included tours of Dryden's main aircraft hangar and several specialized research and support aircraft. Dozens of teachers are conducting real science in an extreme environment. Through Ames Research Center's Spaceward Bound project, NASA has sent teachers to California State University's Desert Study Center in Zzyzx. Here on the edge of the barren Mojave Desert, they help conduct NASA-related field science. The data and knowledge they glean at Zyzex will be used to develop experiments, demonstrations, and lesson plans for their students. NASA Administrator Charles Bolden joined with other NASA volunteers in helping these fifth graders become rocket scientists for the day.
What happens if an astronaut floats over?
The students at the Langland Elementary School in Washington built and test flew their own paper rockets using a high-power paper rocket launcher.
Please give a warm welcome for Charlie Bolden. All right. How you doing?
More than 250 students joined with astronaut Leland Melvin and Administrator Charles Bolden at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory to help kick off NASA's Summer of Innovation.
What we want to do this summer through the Summer of Innovation is take young men and women like Malik, and we want to help them understand. Yes, science and math may be difficult, but you can learn it.
Also over the Labor Day weekend, actor-rapper Mos Def and astronaut Leland Melvin teamed up to share NASA's Summer of Innovation program with young people at the Instituting Science in Schools Science and Cultural Festival at the Chabot Observatory in Oakland, California, and people attending the Tom Joyner Morning Show Family Reunion in Orlando, Florida.
Once again, NASA employees proved the importance of community involvement. Centers threw open their doors to neighbors and reached out to make new friends for the agency. NASA also provided technological assistance to a region of our country threatened with ecological disaster and expertise to another member of the global community in their time of grave need.
NASA assets continue to help scientists track two events causing worldwide environmental and economic concern. NASA's instrumented research aircraft, the Earth Resources 2, or ER-2, has been deployed to the Gulf of Mexico to do flyovers of the Deepwater Horizon BP oil spill and the coastline it threatens. The agency is also making extra satellite observations and conducting additional data processing to help U.S. disaster response agencies assess the spread and impact of the slick.
Okay, guys, let's go.
The first hatchlings from endangered sea turtle eggs at possible risk by the BP oil spill were released into the Atlantic Ocean off the Kennedy Space Center on July 11.
Here they go.
After their collection at a Florida Panhandle beach, the eggs of 22 Kemp's Ridley turtles were brought to a secure climate-controlled facility at Kennedy, where the nest was monitored until incubation was complete. When she was just 6 years old, Carolina Gallardo fell in love with the night sky. As a teenager, the young woman from a poor family near Mexico City watched a television show about astronomy and the Hubble Space Telescope that would make the stars her life's work. Carolina, then 13, was so inspired by Ed Weiler, the NASA scientist featured on the program, that she initiated a correspondence with him that would encourage her studies for years to come. Now, at age 30, Carolina Gallardo has finished a summer internship at the Goddard Space Flight Center to complete master's programs in aeronautics, astronautics, and space technology. A special guest at the Science Mission Directorate's monthly meeting at headquarters, Carolina told senior managers how Weiler, now the Directorate's associate administrator, and others at NASA have impacted her life.
Now I graduated from 2 masters in aerospace, and I can say that thanks to you, thanks to your challenge, to your motivation, I can tell to everyone that if it wouldn't be for you, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have gone this far. Thank you very much.
NASA Administrator Charles Bolden and the NASA team that traveled to Chile to assist the once-trapped miners met with President Obama on October 28th in the White House Oval Office. The team advised Chilean rescue officials on how to maintain the psychological and physiological well-being of the 33 miners trapped a half-mile beneath the Earth's surface, as well as the design of the rescue capsule in which each man would finally ascend after 69 days underground.
For nearly 80 years, the Lego brick has helped enhance children's creativity through playing and learning. Now, NASA is teaming up with LEGO to develop innovative educational and outreach activities to interest youngsters in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. The collaboration, called Build the Future, kicked off at Kennedy with youngsters building their vision of the future in space. The continuing study of ice sheets in the Arctic was just one way NASA researchers added to the data about changes in temperatures and sea levels around the globe. A new NASA website can help our future explorers and leaders better understand the hows and whys of climate change and what they can do to make our planet more habitable.
Kinda far south for a polar bear, ain't ya?
You don't say. Look, my habitat is shrinking, and I obviously fell asleep on the wrong iceberg.
Climate Kids can be found at http://climate.nasa.gov/kids.
Operation Ice Bridge has entered the second phase of its spring 2010 campaign. NASA's DC-8 aircraft has returned from Greenland to the Dryden Flight Research Center in California, following a successful survey of the entire Arctic Ocean. The plane flew from Thule, Greenland to Fairbanks, Alaska, providing a detailed snapshot of sea ice conditions.
As this year's hurricane season gets underway, the Goddard Space Flight Center has unveiled for the media NASA's new Climate Simulation Center, an amalgam of supercomputing, visualization, and data interaction technologies. The Climate Simulation Center supports weather and climate prediction research by one of the world's largest contingents of Earth scientists. A NASA-sponsored mission in Alaska is exploring how changes in the Arctic sea ice cover may be contributing to global warming. IceScape, for impacts of climate on ecosystems and chemistry of the Arctic-Pacific environment, is working its way through the Bering Strait, headed for the Chukchi and Beaufort Seas. From laboratory and wind tunnel research to demonstration tests, NASA Aeronautics continued its green aviation initiatives. Their goal? To make air travel quieter, cleaner, and more efficient, while increasing the safety and comfort of passengers.
The Ames Research Center was the scene of a gathering of experts from government, industry, and academia meeting to discuss the agency's green aviation research efforts,
doing research in alternative biofuels,
and showcase groundbreaking solutions NASA and its partners are developing to reduce the impact of aviation systems on the environment. Over a 2-day period, attendees heard researchers, scientists, technicians, and leading policymakers present on the latest emerging environmentally sensitive aviation technologies.
Please join us welcome NASA Administrator, Mr. Bolden.
NASA Administrator Charles Bolden addressed the group on day one of the event.
We're so excited at NASA about the opportunities we are being given in the coming years to help develop solutions to some of our most pressing aviation problems and create the next generation of air transportation systems that will last for generations and make us all safer and make the planet a better place. That's a huge challenge, but we at NASA enthusiastically accept it.
Next week, more of This Year at NASA. For more, log on to www.nasa.gov.